Elestriad newcomer MattOshea is off to a dominant start this season, alongside his trusty Dratagwa and Lakagon. ShadyPenguinn on the Imperawat side is looking for his stride as he hopes to keep the flame aglow and not get extinguished from the raging tide. With 12 packs each to open up, Matt hits a Lavalith and is pumped.
Let's go. We got a Lavalith. I will take it. That is a huge hit for us. We needed this card really badly.
Matt's also hyped with Chains of Prometheus and is cooking up some new decks for later weeks.
We didn't get our playsets of the Morphrost cards, but we're still only 12 packs into this 36 pack box.
Shady doesn't have quite the same fortune, with a few average hits like Lakagon, which is hardly what he needs for his fire strategy. However, this next card is actually great.
Harmonia, a shield. That's actually great. All right, Shield Rabbit is based. That is pretty good for me, I gotta be honest. I really like that.
With new Elestrals and runes by their side, Shady makes a swap with Poke-Aim for Infrostix, Morphrost Terror, and Lakagon. While on the flip side, MattOshea picked up an additional Lakagon and 2 Laurels from Aspira. Before I break down their deck profiles, let's see what these casters have to say about what they're bringing. MattOshea, what you got?
So we have our clash today against ShadyPenguinn, and I'm excited for this clash for a few specific reasons. Number one, we're going up against Fire, and his Fire deck has a ton of counter runes, but he also has 2 Lavalith, which is crazy against our deck. So for that reason, I'm playing a bit of a different list than normal Water does. We're actually playing Water Nexus, and because of that, our peak card and peak combo is actually going to be resolving Aphros while having Poseidon on the field and possibly even Atlantis. If we can do this, we're going to be in a really good position because we can go ahead and normal summon out our Aphros, use Poseidon to get 3 on it, Nexus to our Aphros for 2, and then draw 2 cards and get a Nectar of the Gods basically for free, which is great. And we can keep doing that over and over and over. And Atlantis is great because if we have it on the field, we can always then go for Rise from the Depths, which will be amazing. We can then bring back something like our Dratagwa to heal us, and we can also have Altar of Stars, which we pulled it in base set to be able to give our Dratagwa an extra spirit to be able to then put it into get an extra spirits back from our underworld, and then be able to just turn something on our opponent's field sideways, and hopefully we can take advantage from there. Our goal is to win with raw card advantage, and hopefully we can go ahead and do that.
Card advantage is a brilliant strategy when going up against the aggro nature of Fire. I really think that Aphros combined with Dratagwa could put in a ton of work if he maintains stadium control with Atlantis. Matt's not the only one with a spicy game plan this week. Let's see what Shady cooked up.
So the matchup is really hard. I got to do 6 scrim battles with my team, and honestly, the first 3 went awfully. We changed the deck up. These went much better, but it's still an uphill battle, very draw dependent. Lavalith is super important for this matchup. Being able to get something that potentially is an 8-6 thanks to Volcanic Forge is really nice. And other than that, I mean, Water just heals so much, so we decided that we have to go hyper aggro. Really just wanting to trade my 1-drops into back row, because Matt has access to a lot of different back row, a lot of removal between shields, everything like that, tsunamis to turn me into defense and put me in a vulnerable position, that I need to just spend 1 Elestral, a 1-drop, to get rid of it. Once the back row is looking a little weak, we can bring out Blazerus to try to start wiping the actual Elestral field out of place. And that's really all I got.
I really love the introduction of Blazerus into this deck to pair with Lavalith, as it can often deal with some of the swarming nature that Water provides with cards like Foamy and the defensive backbone of Mustation, Dratagwa, and Aphros. Blazerus could prove to be very impactful in this clash. Oh man, I cannot wait for this one. MattOshea goes first and going to expend to draw. Not the start you want if you're going first, but does allow him to set some serious back row for ShadyPenguinn to have to contend with now, as Shady's going to draw his first card with an open Elestral row, able to get an attack off here if he chooses to do so, but rather going for card advantage, as Strabic going to provide him exactly that, allowing him to look at the top 3 cards of his deck, lean back in his nice and comfy chair, and decide what he's going to add to his hand. He'll shuffle the rest back, and he's just going to pass his turn from there, right back on over to MattOshea, the Water caster. Let's see what he's cooking this time. He's going to expend to draw again, a luxury that Water provides you here in the Elestriad, considering you have such incredible regeneration tools like Sluggle and Dratagwa, and you're just making your Lakagon even stronger by fueling those Water spirits into your underworld. Shady's going to draw for his turn. He's thinking up some strategies here. A Vipyro hits the field with Nekruff. Nekruff, a 5 attacker that does its best damage when it destroys an opponent's Elestral. Nekruff going to leap forward with 1 back row behind him and take a chip damage of Spirit from MattOshea, bringing him down to 17. He'll be drawing for turn, looking to cast his first Elestral of the day, which he has yet to do. Looks like he's got 2 water spirits for the Nectar of the Gods. He's going to be drinking and eating good today with an additional 2-card draw. And all MattOshea has done up until this point of the clash is simply drawn cards. So let's see the Divine Blessing from Shady. What a turn of events. I did not expect to see that, as he is going to stop the activation of that Nectar of the Gods and prevent Matt from being able to play or draw those additional cards. Shady playing the game of trying to keep him at bay without getting an Elestral, but it's going to be an Aphros that comes out to the field in attack position. Very surprising there. Divine Blessing did indeed cost Shady his Necruff. This is what MattOshea was looking to do, though. Aphros hits the field. He can then potentially Nexus with Poseidon. He's going to play the Poseidon as well. Poseidon comes out to the field, and now he can use the Nexus of Aphros to draw up to 2 cards. Aphros provides draw potential based on how many cards or spirits you Nexus. So if you Nexus 1 spirit, you draw 1. If you Nexus 2 spirits, you draw 2. You can choose to do whichever you want. He's going to grab the double. That's going to give him the draw 2. So while Shady stopped him from drawing with Nectar of the Gods, it only held him off for a little bit because he's still able to draw 2 spirits. And now Shady's in a position where he needs to get rid of this Aphros ASAP. If he lets this thing sit on the field and continue to pass spirits back and forth between him and Poseidon, Shady's done for, because he is not going to win the resource game against MattOshea, who his entire game plan is to take advantage of that. 2 Earth Spirits hit the field. That's an Earthquake for ShadyPenguinn as he shatters the ground with Tectorus to crash into that Aphros and eliminate it from the field. A huge play from Shady. Now MattOshea's whole game plan seems to be spoiled as Faltuga hits the field. That's going to provide the reliable search that Shady needs to grab a Necruff from his deck. That tells me he doesn't have the support cards to be able to get Kinleo to get going here. MattOshea's going to draw for his turn. Let's listen in and see what he's cooking up. He needs to get something big.
Atlantis.
Okay.
Next, I will cast out Rotagua.
Okay. Is it the one that covers?
This is the one that recovers. Thinking on position here. I'll put it into defense, and it'll recover back 2 if that's okay.
Yep, that's good. And his natural stat line is 1/4, right?
Yes, so he's a 2/5 right now.
Gotcha.
Okay. Next, I will Rise from the Depths. This is just basically Moss Reborn for waters if I have Atlantis on field.
Cool.
So I'll bring back Aphros.
Nice.
Okay. Then I will use Aphros here to Nexus.
Yep, that's good.
I'll Nexus off Poseidon onto Jotagua, and then I'll draw 1 card off of the Aphros effect.
Yep.
And then in a new chain, I'll have Jotagua to add back 2 waters.
Yep.
Okay, so drawing 1, and then adding back 2 waters.
That was the big play MattOshea needed. My goodness. Atlantis comes out, sets the stadium, Rise from the Depths, revives that Aphros. Jotagua heals him 4 spirits, and all of a sudden, he had no Elestrals on field, healed a ton. And now ShadyPenguinn looks to respond. Gonna go down with a stadium of his own. The Volcanic Forge hits the field. Atlantis is gone. Not anything MattOshea can do about that. That is crucial, as now Necruff is going to be sitting at 6 attack when it hits the field and be able to attack over both Jotagua and Aphros. There are 2 back row. Another Earthquake comes down from Shady. That's going to clear the Aphros both times. He got rid of that Elestral with an Earthquake. Very important again to prevent that draw potential. MattOshea with 4 cards in hand is actually insane. A Water Spirit comes down for Shady. It's going to be a Misenchanted Necruff, a bold play. That's going to allow him to get around a potential Tsunami. He attacks into the Jotagua. 5 attack beats 4 defense, but Shield of Achilles is the response for MattOshea. Well played on his end. That will bounce back the Necruff to Shady's hand, trying to play around the Tsunami. Nice thought on his end. One of the things we saw from Shady last season was how well he navigated misenchanting his Elestrals Trying to show that again today. Atlantis comes out, taking the stadium more back. Another Aphros, my goodness. MattOshea is cooking. Tell me he's got a second Poseidon. My goodness, another Poseidon hits the field. That is going to just provide such incredible draw power for MattOshea as he can now Nexus onto the Dratagua. He only has 4 spirits left, but this Nexus onto the Dratagua will allow him to heal again. 3 spirits on Dratagua. Aphros is going to allow him to draw. This combo is working exactly how MattOshea planned it when he set up his deck this week. He knew if I can get Aphros to the field and I can combo it with Poseidon, I could combo it with all these different things, I'll be able to put in work. Actually, I misunderstood his play there. He Nexus from Poseidon to Dratagua to get its effect. So taking advantage of Poseidon being able to Nexus as well makes Dratagua such a reliable Elestral, and it can deal some damage under the condition of Galaxy. In this case, he's going to stay in defense position, it looks like, as that small Tuga is staring him down. You really don't want to have to deal with that. But an Ambrosia play here. Again, he was down to 4 spirits, and we saw this whole season long. MattOshea just hangs in the clash with his late game Drataguas, his late game Ambrosias, that allows him to play a little aggressively in that early clash. We saw him go expend to draw, expend to draw, expend to draw. Even his Nog got shut down, and yet here he is still regenerating spirits. Shady opts to go with the fire enchant this time instead of a water enchant, probably recognizing Tsunami's either going to be there or it's not. And then he passes his turn. An interesting choice. It's because of the Atlantis. Atlantis keeps those Elestrals stronger than the Necroth. That might have been the time to probably try to get that water spirit on the field for Necroth. I wonder if there was an argument to be made of ascending your small Tuga into Necroth. That way you're both properly enchanted and water enchanted to take advantage of Atlantis, attack over either Dratagua or Aphros, or at the very least, hit that face down rune. That might have been the optimal play there. Hindsight, of course, 2020. MattOshea continues to execute his core strategy of Aphros Dratagua, leaves his turn there, but here comes Kinleo. ShadyPenguinn's got an answer. Kinleo is the Nexus Elestral that he needs, as he's going to Nexus the Fire Spirit off of his Necroth onto what might be small Tuga, and that's going to be an opportunity to take out one of these cards in the field. Does he go Aphros or does he go Dratagua? He's going to go value on this one. Dratagua with 3 water spirits on it makes all the sense in the world. Here comes a water spirit off of a small Tuga to cast an Ambrosia. Shady's going to heal up. 3 spirits, recognizes, you know, my small Tuga doesn't need its water spirit. In fact, I'd rather keep it this way, because if a Galaxy hits the field, I'm going to not have my stats swapped unwantingly in defense position. So his Astrabit's still holding it down. Aphros has been a huge threat for Matt. He's going to use that last spirit on Aphros to draw an additional card. When we look at this clash and you consider how many spirits MattOshea has healed up already and how many additional cards he's drawn, absolutely insane. Jolton is going to be the choice for this turn, a 4 attacker that most importantly searches out that Stadium Atlantis, and while he doesn't need it right now, still a crucial card to add to his hand. If he has it, I don't even know if he has another one there. And it looks like he's going to have his 3 back row, taking a more defensive stance. The Jolton able to attack into the Kinleo. Shady has no choice but has to respond, and Shield of Achilles is going to be the play to bounce back that Jolton. Shady's actually still in a pretty good spot. He's got 3 Elestrals on the field. Aphros is the only thing MattOshea has. If Shady can figure out how do I Nexus to destroy this thing, he can make it work. He's going to go Volcaries here. I almost wonder if there was... Actually, you know what? Take that Fire Spirit from Small Tuga, Shady. That's your play. Fire Nexus onto the Volcaries or onto the Kinleo. Pop the Aphros, and you're in the driver's seat. He's going to do just that, but go defensively, keeping it on the Rabbit. I love that. By doing it on the Rabbit, you actually keep the buff on the Volcaries, but you don't expose that spirit really to anything else. Will we see a Gorgon's Gaze, or is that Aphros going down? MattOshea with a crucial turn, a crucial decision to make, but no. The Aphros goes down. We see it get Earthquake twice in this one, and then Kinleo Nexus. Shady's about to deal some serious damage. Will there be a Tsunami to counter this? Kinleo attacks forward. Volcaries attacks, but the Tsunami again. You just can't do anything about it. Misenchanting with water is your best play, but Tsunami is such a strong card. My goodness, MattOshea does it again. Dratagua comes out, gets buffed up from that Atlantis. That means its attack stat can outpace that, I believe, Kinleo. This is his play to make. Let's see what Matt's doing. He's at 8 spirits right now. Shady's at 8 spirits. This has been a back and forth tactical clash of both casters vying for the optimal position to try to find a hole in their opponent's defenses and push forward, but MattOshea has done it, and he's got a Shield of Achilles! The card Shady needed. Shield of Achilles gonna bounce back that Tratagua. The downside is he's gonna be able to heal again next turn when he recasts it, but at the very least, Kinleo lives to see another day, and Shady gets to draw to potentially find another counter rune to continue to protect his incredible threat that is Kinleo. Kinleo goes to attack. I'm sure we're going to see Volcaries do something similar. Thunder Spear comes down. Astravic goes to attack position. I do want to make a comment here. I think if I'm Shady, there's a lot of value at this point to just putting all of my Elestrals in attack position. Because at the end of the day, even though I may lose an Astravid in this exchange, one, I've got 2 of them. And, you know, I really don't need their effects at this point. They've kind of done their thing. So him casting that one to defense, in my opinion, I feel like you got to just go all out. You might run into a Tsunami either way, but at the very least, you're still getting more chip damage off. It looks like he opts to not attack. I'm unsure as to why he chose to not attack there. I'm going to be honest. That felt like an opportunity to attack, even with Tsunami or Shield or any of those runes. By forcing those runes to be played, you at the very least get Matt to use some more spirits. He's not forced to use his Tratagua, but rather goes Galaxy here. Galaxy comes out. It's going to take out the Kinleo, and now Shady's looking for an answer. He's got his own Volcanic Forge. No, a Mount Olympus. Misenchanted Mount Olympus. That's going to buff up the Volcaries and get rid of the Atlantis. A double stadium play. I'm really surprised to see it. Volcary's going to be buffed up even further from that. Don't forget that Astravid has a Spirit on it as well. He's going to attack into the Galaxy. Is there a response from MattOshea? Let's see. It's a Shield of Achilles. This is what I was talking about. You knew that back row had stuff on it. You had an empty field. You're going to get it. You're going to have to get those counter runes out of there at some point. Maybe I missed something. I don't know why he didn't attack last turn, but we'll have to see how this plays out. MattOshea, 5 spirits. ShadyPenguinn, 5 spirits. The double rabbit holding it down, and Matt takes stadium control back again. Atlantis is huge here because now Galaxy is a 6 attacker. Tratagua is a 5 attacker and healing more spirits. Shady is just in such a tough spot. Being able to, I mean, MattOshea's basically had 30-something spirits this game. And now Poseidon. Poseidon can Nexus right onto Tratagua and heal again. The amount of sustain that MattOshea's deck is providing in this clash, absolutely insane. And I gotta give credit where credit is due. Shady is hanging in there. He is still in this one, but I'll tell you what, this Tratagua is now gonna be at 6 attack if it receives a spirit from Poseidon. That means he's got a 6 attacker and another 6 attacker, and these rabbits are finally gone after hanging out on the field the entire game. MattOshea finds his window of opportunity, and now Shady forced to respond. He's going to have to expend to draw. Not what you want to see at this point of the clash. He casts out his Volcanic Forge. Not going to be enough. Passes his turn. MattOshea, 1 face down rune to contend with. All you got to do is enchant your Tratagua. He goes for the enchant. The Ascension. It's going to be the Lakagon. Lakagon comes out, and he can Nexus from Poseidon onto Tratagua. Proc that healing effect another time. Destroy the face down rune, and potentially seal the deal on this clash. He's going to do exactly that. The Nexus play happens. The regen happens. And now Lakagon does what Lakagon does. Incredible display of what Water does best. Hang in the clash, get some incredible moves going, get that incredible draw power with Aepharos. Shady responds with Gorgon's Gaze, but it is not going to be enough as Lakagon and Tratagua are going to take this one with an emphatic win. MattOshea healing all day, drawing all day. Gotta give props to Shady for hanging in there. But MattOshea's deck was just on point and executed to perfection. Show some love to both of these casters in the comments section below and get excited because we got another clash tomorrow.